We're going to look at a few exercises that have caused people problems in the past. And so we'll begin with Sadiq, and we want to add a feminine singular absolute ending to this. So it's Sadiq, and I've listed the steps over here. And Sadiq is actually relatively uninteresting because we don't need to do much to it. The vowels aren't going to change. We have a short vowel and a historically long vowel, and so Proto-Hebrew those don't change at all. Now I'll go ahead and I'll combine these last two steps, and so we'll do Sadiq. I'm going to write it without the vowels first, and I'm going to add the ending, which is the Kametz He. Don't want to forget the Dagesh Forte because that's what we're going to focus on here, because we need to beware of the Dagesh Forte. Many people look at our resulting word here after we put the ending on and begin to analyze this and say, oh, well, here we have an originally open propretonic syllable, and so what we need to do is we need to reduce this. Get a different color here. Let's try green. We need to reduce this because it's an originally open propretonic syllable. The problem is that we have overlooked the Dagesh Forte. And so remember, the Dagesh Forte tells us that this was not an open syllable. The Dagesh Forte always closes a syllable. So this is a closed syllable. And so a closed syllable does not reduce, and so it remains a patach. Tsa, and then the hirik yod remains a hirik yod. Historically long vowels never change. So tzadika, tzadika. Many people looked at this and they were wondering why we didn't reduce this first vowel. The syllable is propretonic, but it's not an originally open syllable. Okay, let's look at the next one. Very similar. There's some problems with this one, and that people wanted to lengthen one of the vowels when it shouldn't have been lengthened. So let's look at Tifillah. Tifillah is, we will first of all, this is in this case perhaps not the most useful step. We can ultimately learn to do the Proto-Hebrew vowels in our head and not necessarily have to go through the process of lengthening this. We're not quite sure what the vocal schwa lengthens to. Let's just lengthen it to a hirik, and then the hirik under the pei remains the same, and the patach would, or the comets would turn into a patach. That's really not going to be too useful to us because we're going to be losing that hey anyway. So then let's add the ending, and again I'll skip the, don't want to forget my Dagesh Forte. That's the key to this whole mess. Okay, now I'm going to add the box here. It's the ot ending for feminine plural, absolute. And what do we do with our vowels? Well, this propretonic, tifilot, the propretonic vowel reduces back to a vocal schwa. This is an originally open propretonic, so it reduces. Now notice this next one, many people looked at this and said, okay, now our next syllable here with the pei, need to put the Dagesh Forte there to make my point. With the pei is now it's open and pretonic, therefore it looks like we should be lengthening this. We should be lengthening this now, since it's a hirik, maybe to a tsere, lengthening it out because it's a pretonic open syllable. But notice it's not an open syllable. Again, we have a Dagesh Forte. It's a closed syllable. And so we are back in the place where we have a closed pretonic syllable. That is going to be a short vowel. The hirik remains. So we have tifilot, tifilot. And so I'm basically applying the syllable rules and adding the ending in one step here. Tifalot. Again, the presence of the Dagesh Forte is what is leading us to do what appears to break the rules, but really doesn't break the rules, because what we're doing is we are just applying the rules of closed syllables. We just have to remember that the Dagesh Forte closes the syllable before it.